District to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Bracken, Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
For the Health of It, Radio Cayman's premier health show, brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy and the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association.
This is For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Hi, and welcome to For the Health of It. This evening I'm talking to herbalist. Is that what you...
Yes.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Bovell, and we're going to be talking about the holistic approach to health after these messages from our sponsor.
The Cayman Islands Civil Service Association would like to inform their members that the CICSA office, located upstairs the Hospital Road Plaza, is now staffed for your convenience. Office hours are Mondays 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Thursdays 1 to 4 p.m. For information and assistance, you can call 946-7330. You can also email cicsa@gov.ky. That's CICSA@gov.ky. CICSA, working hard to promote and protect the interests and welfare of its members.
Healthcare Pharmacy has opened a second location in Governor Square on 7 Mile Beach. Now you have the same great service and professionalism serving West Bay and 7 Mile Beach neighborhoods. New prescriptions, prescription refills and transfers, vitamins, first aid, Hallmark greeting cards, sunblock, and more. Now conveniently near you. The new Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor Square is open Monday to Friday 9 to 6 and Saturdays 9 to 2. Call 949-8900 or email rx@healthcarepharmacy.ky. Healthcare Pharmacy. We care about your health.
Hi, I'm talking this evening to Jerry Bovell. She has a master's degree in herbal medicine, and I was so excited when she agreed to be on the show because it's so important now these days to get more. I think the holistic approach, rather than medicine, big pharma approach to health is we need both. Yeah. But it's great that you came onto the show. Welcome to For the Health of It, Jerry.
Thank you, Tara. I'm very happy to be here. Very excited.
As am I. And what is the holistic approach to
wellness, to well-being? The holistic approach is one that considers the many aspects of one's life. It's physical, mental, social, spiritual, emotional, and environmental. All of these aspects encompass our experience, and the root word holos is translated to mean to mean whole or entire and complete. Every individual has an experience that is completely unique, and we feel that healthcare or wellness should be tailored to meet that individual's current need. As a holistic practitioner, we encourage people to take interest in their own well-being. No one else lives in your body. No one else has the perspective and the sensitivity that is unique to you. And through a closer examination of all of these factors, we gain insight to factors that would contribute to or deter from our complete well-being.
Yeah, that totally makes sense because we all look different. Mm-hmm. We all experience things differently, whether
Absolutely.
It's stress or whatnot. And
Yes.
you go to the doctor and, I'm not giving them a bad name because God knows we need doctors as well. But the diagnosis is always usually coming from a general sense of whatever it is. So it's kind of, we're in a cookie cutter approach to wellness. And your diet is different from my diet. So if we go to the doctor, we might need something totally different.
Absolutely. And it is that perspective of a blanket approach that I think we can really start to incorporate our own sense of space and time and how we are operating. As we are not taking away from what our doctors, our general practitioners, and our specialists contribute to. We are also aware that they are overwhelmed. As a society, as a global population, we are aging, and there's greater illness. We are running to the extent of our knowledge for pharmaceutical intervention. And what we have to prepare for is how to remain healthy, how to be strong, and how to maintain that wellness so that things aren't falling apart. We aren't in critical care. We aren't in acute situations where trauma attention is necessary. I think it is the onus is on us as individuals to pay attention to all of the contributors to what is going on in our life.
And I liked what you said earlier. We are responsible for our health. Mm-hmm. So when we go to the doctor or to a herbalist or someone, we feel differently. So we have to express that and be responsible for ourselves as well, because doctors are overwhelmed.
Yes.
I mean, we can't expect the country doctor that used to come to your house and visit you no longer exists.
No.
And if they're seeing a patient every 15 minutes,
mm-hmm.
which is, I think, it's between 15 and 20 minutes. A lot of them, they can't remember your name. I mean, that's a lot of stuff, a lot of responsibility on them.
Yes.
Whereas the responsibility, you put it on yourself.
Absolutely. That experience with the country doctor coming to your home, he knew your environment. He knew your relatives. He knew your case history. He knew your story. Yes. And that's where these days, in modern times, not only has the population exploded, but we're moving at 100 miles an hour, each and every one of us. We don't have the time for our own well-being. And how can we put that responsibility on a practitioner to care for 60,000 people? It is simply too much. And so while every doctor that we know has intrinsically understood that their practice is to do no harm and to contribute to the increased vitality of their patients, they do not have the time to sit with you for 2 hours and to hear your story and to understand what the contributors are. And when we do go to visit our doctors, and if we are lacking in the awareness of what exactly contributed to the symptoms that we're expressing, and bear in mind that many of the symptoms that we finally give our attention to have probably been in existence for much longer than we ever paid mind to. So this history of our own awareness of how we felt is lost in time, and we are, very quick to go to the doctor and say, well, I have a headache, but we forgot to tell the doctor that we've been bent over a book for 12 hours every day trying to study for an exam. And they have no idea, is this headache a part of an alignment situation, or is this headache from a viral infection? Is this headache from sort of a dislocation or a mineral deficiency? They really don't have the time to ask the millions of questions that they could be asking. So the more that we become aware of our own well-being, the holistic awareness of what our life is, the more information that we have to share, and we're assisting any practitioner that we visit. And in that way, we are all gaining knowledge.
Yeah. So what is the difference between health and wellness?
And wellness. And that's such a very good question. They've been used interchangeably over time, and what we like to understand and express in the holistic field is that wellness is the action, with the end result being good health. The World Health Organization in their constitution stated, I believe this is 1940, they stated that health is referred to as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being and not merely the absence of disease or infirmary. According to the World Health Organization, the primary determinants of the health are also inclusive of the environment and the economic factors in which we live. So they're taking this picture of our life experience and seeing this somewhat as a pie and looking at the many factors that contribute to our experience, to our physical daily lives. So it's not just the absence of having a condition that we're aware of that is a determinant of well-being, but also our relationships, our interactions with people and with ourselves and with the environment. We can have technical health but live in an abusive relationship. We can have beautiful relationships and have a diet that leads to anxiety or some other unseen mental disorder. We know irrefutably now how diet contributes to states of anxiety and depression and other mental illnesses. And for a very long time, these were seen as singular disorders of the mental body. We know now they are connected to the physical body and what we intake. So that's more of the holistic approach. So for that long-winded answer, we like to consider that wellness is the action that brings us into a state of health.
Great, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Now, we had talked a lot about our doctors, and this next question is, how can we get our doctors to understand and that we do have this pain in our neck, but what you said earlier painted a beautiful picture for me is, you're studying, bent over an exam, or studying for an exam or at a desk 12 hours a day, and you go in there because your shoulders are hurting and your neck is hurting. So how do you get your doctor to understand that you want a more holistic approach to health rather than just, give me an Arcoxia and send me home?
I think our experience with our doctors has changed, and we are looking to them for the answers that are unknowable. They, they're also limited in scope. They are not omniscient. They do not live with you. They do not understand what your experience is. When you are visiting your practitioner, I think it's very important to share accurate and insightful information of how you live your life. They can glean information from the smallest tidbits, and they can understand, is this a deficiency or is this an excess that we are looking at? Is this a deficiency in diet or in sleep? Is this a deficiency in the protocol that you might be on pharmaceutically? Is this a deficiency in exercise? If we don't move our body, there is so much that starts to break down. If we don't use it, we lose it. So approaching your doctor and asking for a holistic view or recommendation for healthcare often means that you're looking for a recommendation to alleviate a symptom that has originated from a place in time where you might not be fully connected. But what you can do is you can take some time before visiting that practitioner to think about what is it that you are visiting for? What is the reason you're visiting your practitioner? What is the timeline that led you to this situation in which you are seeking help? And in that timeline, can you look at things in your life that might have accumulated or that might have changed? And this helps to feed a practitioner information. But again, looking holistically, you have to be prepared to answer questions that might be quite personal and we have to learn to share the information about our experience if we want a full scope approach.
So come prepared. I have been studying for a while now. I'm eating a crap diet. I barely exercise, or I'm eating really well, but I'm not getting to exercise because I'm spending 12 hours a day. I've been taking this medicine, so come prepared. This has been going on for 12 weeks, and it really now is just hitting the breaking point. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That little bit of information alone is, you're telling me that you're eating well, but you're not moving your body. You're eating well, but you're stationary. And when we talk about being stationary, usually we're talking about sitting down or lying down, all of which will compromise your breathing and your digestion. So you could be eating the most glorious food in the world, but if you're not digesting properly and if you're not assimilating properly, you're not introducing those nutrients into cell health. It's a very simple approach. Exercise is one of those factors that will it stimulates all of the processes of the body. It helps to boost the circulation. It helps to stimulate digestion and assimilation. It helps to release stored toxins. It helps to increase the oxygen uptake, which is necessary for cell health. So all of these aspects will contribute or distract your well-being.
So now I know a little bit about you, and you use oils and different foods to support wellness.
Yes.
Give our audience an example of how you would use, say, your oils.
Well, there's a lot of different oils, and oils can be used for internal support or for external support for inhalation factors. As we age, we lose the volume of fluids in the body. We lose water, we lose oils, we lose hormones. What the oils do is they help to provide cellular exchange of information. They also provide the moistening of the tissues, which allows for slip and mobility. We find over time that we are not able to maintain an oil balance internally, and so the ingestion of good health beneficial oils like omega-3s are incredibly important for not only heart health and neural health, but also mental well-being. We know that there's a connection to a loss or a deficiency of omega-3s with mental health states. Externally, I use essential oils, which are the constituents of plants, incredibly effective for stimulating processes of the body. They can be topical nervines, which means they calm and soothe the central nervous system. Things that are very common and beautiful are lavender oil or chamomile. There's been a big boom in the essential oil industry over the past sort of 7 or so years. And, it's really a buzz topic. I have a tremendous regard for the plant oils, as they are the defense mechanisms of plants. They have very active compounds, and it takes a great deal of raw material to produce just one single drop of essential oil. So I do not use them carelessly, but what I will do with these essential oils is I diffuse them. The use of essential oils throughout history has been through the aromatherapy approach, and that is very simply through inhalation. Now we know when we inhale an aromatherapy oil, when we inhale a natural essential oil, it passes through the mucosal layer of the nose and directly into the lymphatic system, which is exchanged with the blood. So directly into the bloodstream are these effective constituents. So they are very active, and there's no quicker way to introduce them into your system. A lot of people have taken to ingesting these essential oils, which I do not recommend. Not only will they probably not make it past your digestion, but swallowing raw essential oils, they are volatile and they can broach the safety mechanisms of your internal lining, your epithelium, and possibly introduce bacteria and pathogens. But really, they're not going to make it into the bloodstream, which is where you want them to be effective. So I use oils topically for burns. Lavender oil has such profound effect on soothing a burn, from whether that's from the oven or whether that's a sunburn. Peppermint oil is a wonderful stimulant. In the middle of the day, if you ever have that slump at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, just inhaling peppermint oil will regenerate the faculties. It's also wonderful if you're having any kind of muscle spasm or pain, a topical application of peppermint oil. Many of these oils can be used neat, which means you use just the pure essential oil. And some of them have to be used in a carrier, like olive oil or almond oil or jojoba. Coconut oil is one of my favorite ways of using these oils topically. But with plant remedies, it's important for people to note that they are active compounds. They have they have great efficacy. So the actions of these plants will work on the body systems. And so self-diagnoses becomes an issue where I feel that, that discussion with the doctors and how can we discuss a holistic approach with our doctor. And I think that one of the things, in fairness, that doctors are aware of is, WebMD and self-diagnosing, and people think it's, if this is good for you, then it must be good for me. And they have no idea the interactions that can occur, because plant remedies are metabolized in the same way that pharmaceuticals are metabolized. They go through the same pathway, first pass digestion through the liver. And if you are combining the two, there can be interactions, and it can cause some very serious harmful effects.
Yeah. I mean, I notice when I do the Dr. Google stuff, anytime I have an oil, I make sure that I research it to make sure that it doesn't interact with a medicine that I'm on.
Beautiful.
But I've noticed that I have a whole bunch of oils now, and maybe they can interact. And some of the oils, it says you can't use 2 weeks before surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
Tell your doctor, you tell your pharmacy that you're on these just because they are medicine.
And that, again, is that awareness, that self-awareness, because even the omega oils, the omega-3 oils that are so crucial to heart health, brain health, neural health, they, when combined with blood thinners, can be very dangerous. So this is something that we think that we're doing for our health, and we think that these are innocuous, but in fact, they have contributory effects on pharmaceutical medications. And many of the essential oils can lead to photosensitivity, so light sensitivity. People aren't considering the amount of sunlight that we are exposed to on our island, which has tremendous health benefits as well. But again, if we're introducing additional constituents and we have no idea what our reaction is, and if we're doing these things mindlessly, how are we to expect our general practitioner to understand what we're doing?
For real. This is, I've been talking to Jerry Bovell. We're talking about the holistic approach to health. If you have any questions for us, call us at 1-800-534-8255. That's 1-800-534-8255. So, we're running out of time, and I wanted to ask you some other questions here about. I've noticed that flus have become more virulent lately. I mean, people they're getting damn good and sick with a cold.
Absolutely.
So what are some things we can do to really build up our immunity system?
The very first medicine is food. Yes. And, whenever I am working with someone, it's important that they understand cellular health is dependent upon the introduction of the nutrients that are needed for that cellular health. So looking at whole foods, and this means foods in their natural state, foods that come from the earth, staying away from processed foods. I understand that this is not a vegan approach. This is really understanding what you're putting into your body. When we're not aware of the sources of our food, then we're not aware of how they were processed, what is involved in the packaging of that food, and what are we introducing to our system. So we firstly look at diet, and we try and incorporate as many plant-based foods as we can in their natural state. And contributing to that, we can use culinary items to boost our immune system. Some of my favorites that are in most of everyone's kitchen would be onions are tremendous for the immune system and for respiratory health. My great-grandmother introduced me to putting onions on the soles of my feet when I was coming down with a cold or the flu.
So that's not foolishness?
Nope. I still do it with my boys. And they do it without missing a beat. They put an onion in their sock. Just cut an onion in half, put it in their sock. They wake up in the morning, they feel remarkably better. Ginger is antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial. It's also a carminative, and it's and it really will reduce any nausea. So it's wonderful for pregnancy, for breastfeeding, for any age.
Do you boil it?
No. One of my favorite remedies is to combine just minced garlic, minced ginger. I boil 1 cup of water, and I steep the garlic and the ginger for about 10-15 minutes. Cayenne pepper I will add. Cayenne is a stimulant, which means that it will move those constituents around the body quickly, and it also acts as a febrifuge, which will increase the body temperature, which helps to defeat those pathogens. So we've come to the state where we're afraid of fevers, and fevers are a part of our natural body's defense mechanisms. Mm-hmm. So by increasing that internal heat, we help to ward off pathogens. So yes, garlic, cayenne, and then of course lemon, full of vitamin C, which we know stimulates many aspects of the immune system. And there are many herbal remedies for boosting the immune response, but those are, again, it's an individual approach because there are activators and then there are tonics. So when we look at the contributors to the reduction of our immunity or the broach of our immune system, if we are sick, and if we look at what our lifestyle was leading to that, if we're not sleeping, if we're not eating well, if we are overindulging in drink, if we have excess sugar, it is a tremendous deterrent for well-being. But we start to look at all of the contributing factors to where our health is at this state. And when we start to consider how diet and sleep and stress reduction will boost immunity, you might find that you don't get sick.
Thank you so much, Jerry, for being on. We got to have you come back on, and we're going to talk more about the herbal medicine part of it. Thank you so much for being on for the Health Fit.
You're so welcome. I was really pleased to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're moving you to the life you want. Thank you for listening to For the Health of It.
Thank you.
The Cayman Islands Civil Service Association would like to inform their members that the Sixa office, located upstairs the Hospital Road Plaza, is now staffed for your convenience. Office hours are Mondays 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Thursdays 1 to 4 p.m. For information and assistance, you can call 946-7330. You can also email sixa@gov.ky. That's CICSA@gov.ky. Sixa, working hard to promote and protect the interests and welfare of its members.
Healthcare Pharmacy has opened a second location in Governor Square on 7 Mile Beach. Now you have the same great service and professionalism serving West Bay and 7 Mile Beach neighborhoods. New prescriptions, prescription refills and transfers, vitamins, first aid, Hallmark greeting cards, sunblock, and more. Now conveniently near you. The new Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor Square is open Monday to Friday 9 to 6 and Saturdays 9 to 2. Call 949-8900 or email rx@healthcarepharmacy.ky. Healthcare Pharmacy. We care about your health.
For the Health of It, Radio Cayman's premier health show was brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy and the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association.
This is For the Health of It with Tara Bush.